And that's our first quest pack obtained. But how did we get here? Well, I finally went back to the Shire and finished off the final Slayer deed, the dreaded Slug Slayer, before doing a few more LOTRO point runs using the revolving door of Beornings at our disposal. After a while though, Ered Luin, as much as I think it's the best starter region, can get a little bit repetitive, so I headed to Breland. I thought it would be a good idea for us to stockpile a few more Slayer accelerators to help out the hunter as much as possible in the coming regions, and snag a couple of LOTRO points from the quest deeds and as a reward for getting to level 10. I think that's a good place to answer a question that I've been asked quite a few times since the release of the first episode. Why even bother farming LOTRO points after the free-to-play changes? It's a good question, and I think I have a good answer. Do I need to farm LOTRO points now that I have the riding skill? No, not really. I can quite easily level this character to level 95, complete Helm's Deep, and probably have enough LOTRO points to afford Gondor, or even just skip to Mordor. But let's be honest, that probably wouldn't be the most interesting video that I could make. However, I don't see doing these deeds as just LOTRO point farming as much as strengthening our main character. Doing all these Slayer, Explorer, and Quest deeds gives me valuable virtue experience, which is going to make the progression a lot smoother as we continue, as well as getting marked and modes of enchantment, which at the start of this account was actually going to be a massive part of the plan. However, I'll talk about what happened to that idea a little bit later in the video. In an effort to bulk up our hunter, I decided to head to the Barrow Downs, specifically this place. Quite frankly, I'm not even going to try and pronounce it. This barrow is full of level 20-ish Barrow Wights and Barrow Spirits, which are able to drop some pretty decent items that for the most part beat out what we bought from the skirmish camp previously, as well as dropping two extremely useful items, Cardolan Trinkets and Well-Kept Mathams, which reward us with 700 reputation for Breland and the Shire respectively. In total, it takes 122 of these items to take us from 0 to 85,000 reputation, which will reward us with 50 LOTRO points for each region for 100 total per character. We do have to be level 20 and complete some quests to be able to use them, but they certainly aren't too difficult to do and themselves give reputation, lowering the required amount for Kindred by a few items. The Mathams are definitely the rarer of the two, however we can always use the marks we've been getting from the Ered Luin runs to fill in the missing Mathams from the skirmish camp curiosity vendors. And after all that time, upon scouting the Dower Hands for what felt like the 100th time, we have exactly 995 LOTRO points. Exactly enough for us to head over to the Yondershire and purchase our very first quest pack of the account. Which leads me into another question and somewhat criticism I've been getting. Why even go to the Yondershire? Now the answer to that is super simple. Gear. This is what level 18 crafted gear looks like, which not only requires me to have it crafted to make it, but is a one-time use, becoming bound to character once it's been equipped. It should be noted that level 20 gear is craftable, but is a single-use recipe and would be a real hassle to obtain and make over and over and over again. But if you remember before, I mentioned that moats were originally going to be an integral part of the account. Well, this is what level 20 moats gear looks like, and it has one massive advantage. It's bound to account, which means once I'm done LOTRO point farming with the Beorning, I can put it into storage ready to be used by the next Beorning that we create. That said, at 1,500 motes per piece of gear, it would definitely be a long-term project obtaining enough motes to get a full set of armor, weapons, and jewelry. The Yondershire is our savior, however, with the quests rewarding bound to account correctly statted gear. I'm looking at you, Retic Weathertop. Including jewelry, which we can get multiple of if needed to complete the set, and worst case scenario, motes become a pretty handy backup plan. Now, some of these issues are potentially due to change with the release of Before the Shadow, with the patch notes stating some lower to mid-level gear now have their stats updated, alongside jewelry, shields, and weapons. So maybe I did just waste 995 LOTRO points on gear, but for now, I think it's actually one of our best options. So it's time for us to visit Yondershire and find the quests that actually give us these items. Unfortunately, I'm not as well versed on Yondershire as I wish I was, so I'm just going to kind of work out what I'm doing. We're going to have to do this at least twice just because we want to get all the jewelry, and obviously we need duplicates for that, but we do have the Beorning at level 20 available for us, and you never know, might be a bit of fun. So pretty much the plan is, if I see a quest ring, I'm picking it up because, again, I don't really know which quests specifically give us anything out of this, so many quests we have. Unfortunately, we're already at level 23, which is kind of the threshold for this, but as I said, it was more about the gear than it was the leveling. All right, we have our first set of armor, and although we can't use it right now, we are going for the heavy armor because Bjorning is a might-based class, and hey, we may as well get the most out of it. And because of our upgrades from the Barrow Downs, this is all rather easy stuff to get done, even if there's maybe an upgrade in some of this gear for us. Actually, looking at it, it is rather close. We lose a little bit of morale, but we would gain more physical mastery, therefore more damage. But once again, we're not actually looking for this for us. It's more for the Bjornings because this character should be leveling up rather soon. I have big plans for leveling this character in potentially 2 episodes time. We'll have to see. So we've got our ring. We are going to have to do this a second time. However, one of the nice things about these rings is because they're bound to account and not specifically bound to character, if we want to, we can actually switch this out for one of our current rings and then just trade it over again. So we're going to be going for the mostly damage outputting one, so Fate, Vitality, Crit, because that's kind of just what we want. We want to kill stuff quicker because we want to get through our Slayer accelerators quicker, and basically we're going to go with that one, and we're going to have to do it a second time, but for now we can actually make use of that ring, which is pretty cool. And that was super easy, and on top of that, we even leveled up to level 24, so we are officially over-leveled for this area, but like I said earlier, that's not the reason we're here. Okay, we may be a little bit drunk, but we have our boots, and I'm starting to worry about something. I'm starting to worry we're not going to have enough inventory space for this, so maybe sometime in the future I should spend some time, get some LOTRO points, and invest in some more inventory space, because I have a feeling it might be a problem rather soon. Unsurprisingly, we have filled our inventory. So yeah, definitely gonna have to put a little bit of work into expanding that soon. You can actually see this one is so much better than the skirmish gear that we got because we actually haven't had a chance to upgrade. But once again, this is going to the Bjorning, not to us. Maybe we'll eventually get another one. That'll go to the Bjorning. Maybe we'll get a third. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. And with that done, what I consider the main story of the Yondershire is completed, and we have obtained a majority of the gear that we're after. For the life of me, I cannot work out where the chest plate is. I thought I did every quest on my completionist character, but I can't seem to track it down, so I need to do a little bit of research on that. And we are missing the earring and the necklace. I just need to do a little bit of searching. Unfortunately, at this point in time, the wiki isn't fully updated for the Yondershire, so I'm just gonna have to run through with another character on my main account and just go searching for that. But by next episode, we will definitely have that armor. But I just want to go over to the Bjorning, have a quick look at how much better the gear is, and see where it boosts our stats up to, because I'll be quite interested to see how it goes. So this character has been kind of lucky in his general escapades, and he has gotten a little bit of armor upgrade. So I've had a few bits of jewelry, I've had the pocket item, which is a very big surprise, and a few lucky drops here and there. However, I think overall, if we do get our new items, we'll see that we are getting some boosts, and obviously this being actual heavy armor, and specifically, being kind of for our Bjorning rather than just being agility gear that we've kind of pawned off to this character, we can see those massive increases in stats, and we should get pretty decent stat increases just across the board with this whole thing. So even in our pocket item, we are getting more offensive stats, even though we are losing the might. We are getting the crit and finesse, and I'd rather hit harder than hit more likely, because ultimately we're going to be going against lower level enemies, level 7 or so, and that's kind of the main point. So for now, we can keep those on this character, and then when we actually make a new one, we will actually go ahead and transfer those probably back to the hunter and then back over here. I do need some money. Hopefully I can put together enough money to just go buy a house, and that will save us a little bit of LOTRO points as well. But for now, I'm sure I can deal with transferring over and over. We are going to have to go to Yondershire on this character anyway to pick up both the extra ring and bracelet, and also the extra earring when I remember how to get that. And obviously, ideally, we are going to get the chest plate, and we'll probably end up getting a Moat's cloak, though we are only about halfway there, so I guess we'll see. But for now, you can see our stats are pretty good. 17.2% here, 49.1%. I kind of expected it to be higher, but with the jewelry added, it will be a bit better. And bearing in mind that's against level 20 enemies, and we're going to be going against lower level enemies. I think for the ending, we do actually have enough Cardolan trinkets, I think, in combination with these to maybe get a couple more Lotro points. Hey, there we are. Kindred, that's an extra at least 45, if not 50 if we're lucky, which I think that's a pretty good place to end it on. So we should be up to 220 Lotro points. And considering what I'm after, we are only about 75 Lotro points away from our next goal. But you'll have to look into the next episode to see what that is. Or maybe you can work it out. We've talked about it before. Before we end though, once again in this video I've hidden a code which if you're able to find and redeem will reward you with the Fate of Gundabad expansion, Minas Morgul expansion, Mordor expansion, the riding skill, a Steed of Bree to use it with, a small crafting carryall, 5 hours of triple XP, a 6-hour Slayer and skill deed boost, a 5,000 enhanced reputation supply, and a double crafting XP tome. All you need to do once you've found it is head to the in-game LOTRO store and use it in the redeem code section. And one more thing. Since the new expansion Before the Shadows has just been released, on the evening of this video going live, I will be streaming over on Twitch, creating a brand new character and taking them through the new intro and hopefully all the way up to level 32 and beyond. The link to the stream will be down in the description and I hope to see you there.